Welcome to a world of thrills, a world of drama, of capes and tights, a world where death is a revolving door. Welcome to the Geek Matrix. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Geek Matrix DC Comics Review Show number... Where the hell did my thing go? Oh, there it is. I was going to say 6 again. 228.
It's like I'm down bound and determined to make it to 600 episodes.
Yes. Yeah, but this is number 228, at least for now. One day we'll make it to 600. Okay, now I have my dinner order tomorrow. All right. So
All right.
my wife just asked me to pick up dinner tomorrow on the way home from work. So,
Nice.
yeah. So, how's it going, guys? Josh and Brandon are here. I'm here.
We are here.
Hell yeah.
You were there.
Am I?
No, but they are.
What's that line from Young Frankenstein?
Oh, I can't remember it now, but I love it.
I have no idea.
Werewolf? No, their wolf. Their castle.
Their castle. That's right.
Yeah. Okay. So, sorry, that just got stuck in my head. It's been a long day.
Why does Quincy Sharp surprise you so much?
Because I don't like. There's not often a lot of Quincy Sharp
References?
reference. Yeah, like appearances.
wanted-
For me, the biggest appearance for him was the Arkham games.
Yeah, and I mean that's what I wanted. I wanted like background characters that were worthy of including, and I didn't want to have a whole bunch of characters that I would want to give at least one go round fucking playing the game with. All of those characters have different missions. Have seven different things they can do. What?
I got 3 more for you.
Oh,
One, do you have the question?
Yes.
Okay. 2, oh frick, what was his name? Crispus Allen, the detective who became the Spectre. I think he was in Gotham Central. Correct me if I'm wrong, Brandon.
That's correct.
I believe he was. I can't remember the question's name, but her partner, Renee Montoya.
Renee
Yeah.
Montoya. Yeah.
Really, any of the people from from Gotham Central.
Yeah.
What is his last name again?
Allen.
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 Right.
I believe.
I will add him as an NPC as well.
And lastly, Officer Aaron Cash. If you're going to do
I already
Arkham
have
character.
Aaron Cash in there.
Oh, you do have Aaron. Oh, okay.
Oh,
I
yeah.
missed that.
Yep.
Fair enough.
Yep. Matter of fact, he's the first character listed.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. I got to go through the list again.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Speaking of comic characters.
Yeah. We got a lot of comic characters to talk about today.
Sure.
But was there news? I feel like there was.
I don't have any.
I know there was wrestling news, and that's pretty fucking exciting wrestling news.
I'm not
nothing.
aware of any wrestling news.
Yeah, no comic news that I can remember right now. I did finally get my new Teen Titans collection across the country, and now it's
Nice.
here.
Oh, yeah.
It's like looking at it is like hearing that Reunited and It Feels So Good song over and over.
I just heard that in my head when you said
At last.
Reunited and it feels
And it does feel so good.
Yeah.
It's at least good for my anxiety, which is the fear of at any point my collection that I've been building for 6 years will disassemble.
Disassemble like the Avengers.
Yeah.
Unceremoniously and written by Bendis.
That's all I got.
Okay, well that is good news. Other good news that Josh shared a couple of days ago. Famous Canadian and creator of Sweet Tooth, Jeff Lemire.
Oh, right, I saw this.
Yeah, he's announced an autobiography in comic book form called 10,000 Ink Stains, and it will explore his working methods and personal life, and also get a little deep on what it's like to work for the big two, DC and Marvel. And supposedly he's not pulling any punches. So
no, I hope so.
Yeah.
Someone that I feel that I know very little about personally, and maybe not professionally. I know his work professionally, but I only know bits and pieces about his process. You know, only what he chooses to reveal. But yeah, no, kind of a. I mean, you know, respectfully so, kind of a private person. So not someone who's revealed like a ton about his past. Only kind of what you can get from Essex County, and there are a couple of interviews where he kind of talks about growing up in Essex County.
Yeah.
Of course, if you're like me and you know jack all about Canada, you're like, Essex County, is that in Florida? Is that in New York?
I'm going to double check where Essex County is. It is in Ontario.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's like right next to Detroit.
Reading that book as a kid,
It's like Windsor area.
had no idea that it was set in Canada. Did not realize that until embarrassingly recently. Because there is an Essex County in New York, but it was a book that felt. I mean, maybe there were things I just didn't get, but like Essex County was a book that maybe didn't seem as Canadian to me as I thought. But then you read the second book, the second Tales from the Farm, or not Tales from the Farm, the second Essex County graphic novel. It's all about hockey. And somehow that never clicked in my brain that maybe this is a little more Canadian than I would have realized.
Yeah.
They mentioned maple syrup twice, and that's it.
Only twice? That's... Maple syrup is not as like
they
it's
spell
an
about
abundance
the same
here.
way.
Yeah, that should be your tell if it's Canadian. That there's U's inserted into certain words.
I hadn't learned that yet. Even like the Canadian import cartoons that we got, I could never. It wasn't years later until I realized I was like, wait a minute, something doesn't sound right. Because when you're a kid, you don't think about it. It's like your first impressions. So you're like, oh, maybe that's just how they talk. It doesn't seem unusual.
Right.
Was it really that?
Going, what fucking boot?
Yeah. I think it was Once I was older in high school, I was probably like when I started paying attention to it, I was like, what? It was like then I could recognize when someone would say like sorry or something. I'm like, wait a minute, hold up, something's not right.
Oh man,
something's not right. Your mouth is broken, bruh.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, you said that wrong. That's weird.
Don't make me talk in a Toronto accent again.
Don't do that.
Toronto mans.
Don't even know, fam.
Don't do that.
Toronto mans are so good.
Oh man, that never fails to make me laugh. The classic Toronto man's accent.
Exactly, classic
pure
Toronto
nonsense.
Oh god, as Toronto man's,
as a Toronto man's,
yeah.
Are you cheesing, fam? Where does that come from? Why cheesing? Can I honestly, ask you that?
I don't know. There's so much,
it's been
so much
forever,
slang,
man.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yes.
I feel like I've never heard that in any other context.
Honestly, depending on
when I was a teenager. Uh-oh. Rob, did you freeze?
Rob's frozen.
Will you tell him, please?
I'll never know.
He'll never know. Where's the Discord? I don't have Discord readily available. Hold on. He left.
Oh.
Huh. And I completely forgot what he was talking about.
The Toronto man's accent.
Oh, right. How could I forget that, bro?
Oh.
Well, I don't know if he's even, it says he's online.
Huh. I don't know.
I'm sure he'll get back here soon enough. We've got to talk about all the Superwomen, all the lanterns, and all the family drama you want. All kinds of good stuff this week. Made me happy anyway. Let's see. Full reviews we got coming up. Black Lightning number 2, Superwoman special number 1, Action Comics 1079, Batman and Robin 16, Green Lantern number 18, and then I'll talk about Batman Santa Claus Silent Night Returns number 3, DC versus Vampires World War V number 5, and Batman Dark Patterns number 1.
Don't spoil anything for Dark Patterns. That's the one book I haven't gotten to read this week, and I wanted to savor it. That was like the one I was most looking forward to, and I haven't gotten to read it yet. So I'm savoring it.
Wait until you hear its honorable mention.
Yeah.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, let me tell you. Let's see. It seems he may have come back. Is he back? He is back. Welcome back. Rob.
Left us in suspense.
Sick. Okay. My
you
internet
were in the middle
decided.
Of talking. I don't even know.
Yeah. My internet decided to just cut out randomly.
Oh, I hate that.
It's fucking annoying. Anyway.
You hate that, bro?
I hate that, fam. So I was asking you, because I know, depending on where you're from, there's multiple definitions of cheesin'. So what do you define cheesin' as?
Cheesin' is at least where I grew up, and I mean still in the, as far as I know, cheesin' is just like a big huge grin on your face or feeling like over the fucking barrel, just like that kind of giddy fucking inside feeling. Cheesing.
Yeah, so if in Toronto man's language, it's not. It's the complete opposite. If you get cheesed, you're pissed off.
Yeah.
Like, don't fucking cheese me, man. Man, you get me so cheesed.
Oh, Toronto.
You get me so. Oh God. Oh, holy Toronto.
I don't know why. I don't know where it came from. I don't know who thought of it, but
he did.
That
it's
is
his
it.
Fault.
That is it. You get me cheesed, you piss me off. You better step back.
How often have you heard someone say that being around Toronto?
All through high school.
Oh my goodness.
If anybody was even slightly urban, they said it all the time.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And I grew up in an urban center. Like, I heard it all the fucking time.
Surprised I've never heard you say it.
I never really adopted that slang
the
too
Toronto
much.
Mans. Even though you are a Toronto man.
Yeah, I'm a Toronto man's. I know the lingo. I can speak it, but I don't actually use it. I still say dip. Me and my wife, we still say dip.
Dip.
Dip?
Yeah.
Like to leave?
Yeah.
You gotta dip out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dipset. Yeah. That's about it. No, Toronto Man's language is fucking hilarious.
You're telling me.
Right. So I wanted to ask, at least you, Brandon, because I know I had convinced Josh. I shared a panel the other day as well, and I want to know if it actually worked out. I finally convinced you to read Fantastic Four.
Well, I'd already read some of it,
Okay.
but definitely makes me want to get into it more. It's funny because
Yeah.
I was thinking about it too because I can't remember. It was like a couple of weeks ago. I think I told you, or on the podcast at least I mentioned it. Like I saw a preview for one issue of Fantastic Four, and I was like, you know what? The handlebar mustache is growing on me
Right?
because that
Just like
was
it's
a big
growing on
point of
Ronnie.
contention I had. I was just like, oh, it's killing me. He looks like a Hell's
Yeah.
Angel. But no, all I've heard is that the series just continues to be fun.
Yeah, it
and it
is.
really does make me want to just finally get back into it. So one of
Like,
these days, I think I'm just gonna crack.
Ryan North takes it up to 11 on 2 points where he really emphasizes on the science, but also emphasizes the family aspect,
Yeah.
which I think was lacking from a lot of Fantastic Four the past couple of decades. And this one, Ryan North has gone full head on into the idea of they are the first family and they are explorers of science. And those are the two like foundational themes in his run. Also a very easy read because there's very few multi-issue arcs.
Oh, okay.
I think the biggest multi-issue arc he had was 3 issues.
Yeah.
Most of the series so far has been single issue stories. So it's easy to digest. Yeah, it's just fun little adventures here and there. Some are funny. There was one issue that stood out for me, and it wasn't funny in the slightest. In fact, it was damn near horrific. But it was like a space age sci-fi thriller. It's just like, oh my god, this is awesome. Yeah, it was so fucking good. But that panel I shared just shows you the fun they have. That was the latest issue, and it was a Halloween issue.
Yeah, I think for the longest time, because I was still mentally reeling from just how incredible and like ambitious the Jonathan Hickman run on Fantastic Four was.
Oh god, yeah, it was
for so long I was like, this is like in my mind. I mean, I've gone through different iterations of Fantastic Four. But for so long, for at least a couple of years, I was like, this is like the Fantastic Four has to be, this big and this epic. And I feel like recently I've finally kind of come down from that like pedestal that I'd put the book on and can appreciate the more family focused dynamic. Because one of the best runs of Fantastic Four is the Mark Waid stuff, and that's mostly about family. So I feel like it doesn't always have to be incredible and epic. It can just have a book that is nice and fun and self-contained and has the family element that the Fantastic Four should have.
Yeah.
I'm happy to hear that.
So you said you've read a little bit. I'm curious, have you gotten to, because the first few issues were issues focused on different characters.
Yeah.
The family was split up. Did you read the Johnny centric issue?
Yeah, he's working at like the car dealership or something
like that. Yeah. So you see, because I know the handlebar mustache was, like you said, a point of contention for you, as well as it was quite a few people. But like that issue does kind of explain why he did it, and it kind of makes a little more sense. Like, it's such a minor change to the story and to the character, but when you read that issue, you see it has some weight to it. It's got some purpose. And it just doesn't get mentioned much again. It was kind of brilliant how it was done. Right?
No, that was a good issue. I liked the I mean, I think that initially kind of turned me off the whole like, oh, the Fantastic Four broke up for reasons, but they were definitely well written enough that I wanted to come back. I never did, and I kind of wish that I had.
It's issue like 8 or 9 or somewhere in that area is the anniversary issue. Not it's like I think it's like Legacy 700 or something like that.
Yeah,
which has a fantastic Doctor Doom story that
awesome.
actually has to do a lot with the ongoing plot. So when you get there, I hope you really enjoy that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it's because I read at least the material that was covered in the first trade. I can't remember. I think that was like the first 6 issues.
I think it's
5 or 6. Yeah. And that was about where I stopped. So,
yeah.
But I mean,
I think at that point they met back up.
Yeah.
And started to go on the road together.
But I mean, yeah, the series has what, like 25 issues or something?
26 came out in October.
26.
Yeah,
okay,
20,
so
27 next week, I think.
Yeah, not a ton. So definitely, I feel like I'm not so intimidated to try and catch up to it.
Yeah. And it's going to be very exciting going into the stuff with Doctor Doom next year, because a big point for Reed across this series that very much came up during the whole, I don't remember what the event was called, thing with the vampires and a couple of other issues here and there, is that he does not believe in magic. He believes magic is just science that has not been understood yet.
Oh yeah, that's been a long running thing.
Yeah. And that is a major point so far in this series. So with Doctor Doom becoming the Sorcerer Supreme and having like a major fucking story arc next year, I'm very excited to see what Ryan North has planned for Reed.
This really must be kind of like a callback to the Mark Waid stuff, because that was it wasn't a big theme throughout the run, but it was a big theme throughout one particular arc where Reed basically has to learn how to do magic.
What the
Yeah, and he's not happy about it, but Valeria gets kidnapped by Dr. Doom, who's now has like fully embraced his sorcerer roots, and that's a whole other thing. But he basically starts that arc off being like, no, magic is just a science that we fully don't understand yet. And Sue is like, you are so full of it. So interesting to hear that. I kind of like that.
Yeah, so it's I'm glad you like it.
Yeah. Well, also, I think it's only a matter of time for me, because I really do miss reading the Fantastic Four. I miss reading Spider-Man, So
yeah, I mean, hell, with the new creative team on Spider-Man, I've yet to read the new team.
I haven't even given it a chance yet.
Yeah. I have it saved and ready to read. I just haven't gotten into it yet, but I've heard it's decent. So I mean, anything would be better than what we had.
you have consistently been singing the praises of this run of Fantastic Four, so I feel like
them enough.
I gotta get into it.
And dear listeners, please, I implore you, do yourselves a favor and just give Ryan North's Fantastic Four a solid chance. The first 6 issues might feel a little bogged down and slow, but that is just a start. And once the family gets back together, it hits the ground running.
Yes,
it is awesome. So fucking good. Josh is about halfway through the run now, I think, and he's been saying some good things about it too.
It is.
Oh yeah.
I paused it. I put it down, but it is really enjoyable. I didn't put it down because it deserves to be.
Yeah, there's some very fun stories in there. All right, well, I'm happy to hear that. I'm very happy to hear that. Oh, McFarlane news. As I was looking at my McFarlane figures, I was thinking, I knew there was something. Yeah, Wildcat officially announced.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes. My only gripe is the mask.
Yeah, that
really awkward.
Seems to be a big point of contention for a lot of people.
Yeah. I get what he was trying to do. It just didn't translate well.
Yeah, it just looks
It's
kind
a
of
little
awkward.
flat.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the big kind of gripe I have with the figure.
Yeah.
Everything else, the sculpt and everything is great. I saw some people saying he looked too skinny, but I'm like, if he's a young Wildcat, I feel like it makes sense. And also, I don't know. I mean, like Ted is big, and he's certainly been burly, but I never think of him as being like a behemoth or anything. He usually is
No.
pretty, like as a pretty lithe body. I don't know if I'm using that
Yeah.
word right, but yeah,
I mean,
I didn't have any major problems with the
yeah.
sculpt.
The build I think is fine. Like
Mhm.
he's a boxer, but and so he's obviously strong, but he's a quick boxer.
Yeah,
And the quickest aren't necessarily like big bulky guys.
no.
No, but then there's Mike Tyson,
Yeah.
There are exceptions.
30 years ago.
But
Yeah. I don't know. He was dodging some hits from Jake Paul, but a lot of people are thinking that match was fixed now, and I wouldn't be surprised.
Wouldn't be surprised at all.
Nope. Well, that actually segues me into the wrestling news. Speaking of appall, I am appalled that it took this long, but Logan Paul has announced that he's retiring from wrestling.
Woo!
Oh,
I wish my
no.
soundboard was working. I would have applause going right now here.
And as Russell, if he's listening or watching, pointed out on the way home today, that means he was retired by LA Knight. Yeah.
Yeah.
What a way to go. Yeah, fuck that guy. All right, so that's
oh no, what a
good
shame.
news. Yeah.
Anyway,
No, don't go. Stay. Faster. Go away faster. All right. I think that is about it.
Oh yeah, you think so, huh?
I think so. At least that's all I have.
Is that it for the news with you, Brandon?
I got nothing.
You got nothing. All right, well, let me go ahead and hop on over to those honorable mentions I was talking about earlier. Variant covers up front, and first amazing variant for Action Comics by Jason Shawn Alexander covers B and C, connecting from Mark Spears on Green Lantern is really cool. As is the only way I can describe it, the funky fresh cover of Joe Moline by Leslie Lee, Batman and Robin from Dan Panosian. I know I'm not saying that right.
No, that's right.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Sweet.
Dan Panosian.
And then all four Superwoman variants by Dave Wilkins, Elizabeth Torque, Edwin Gelman, and Mark Spears. Lots of beautiful variant covers this week. Gotham City Sirens on cover number 1, exactly what you think it is. Awesome art, 8.5 out of 10. Batman, Santa Claus, Silent Night Returns number 3. I don't understand how a Santa Claus book can be this good. It's unbelievable, but it's such a good read and pretty great to look at. 8 out of 10. DC vs. Vampires World War V number 5. The crazy continues as a connection to the Speed Force is discovered, and you won't believe what's going on with Cassandra Cain. 8 out of 10. And then finally, Batman Dark Patterns. Let me break down everything that happens in this book for you. I'm just kidding. It's dark, it's gritty, and it feels real. The art helps the story paint that kind of picture too. Dan Waters, Hayden Sherman, and Triona Farrell are bringing Batman to a whole nother level. 8.75 out of 10. And those are all the honorables worth mentioning.
Hell yeah.
Awesome.
Also, a facsimile edition of Green Lantern number 59.
Oh, yes, that did come out.
Yes. The famed first appearance of one Guy Gardner.
Yeah.
I gotta
Is
get
it the
that.
one where he's got the standing over Hal with the lantern in
Yeah.
hand and yeah.
Yeah. He's like, I'm the lantern now, or something like that. I don't know. I
Mm,
can picture the cover, but I can't remember what the bubble says.
yeah.
Yeah. I gotta get that. Gotta get
It's
that
funny
issue.
because like after that appearance, he would never be that brash until the 80s.
Yeah.
Every time he showed up in like a
Became a
random issue
teacher.
of Green Lantern or Green Lantern Green Arrow, he was kind of neutered. I remember one he was just like floating in the Phantom Zone, kind of like
Yeah.
a nobody at that point.
Okay, I gotta revisit my timeline of it all, but he was in a car accident at some point.
Yeah, he was
That kind of like messed with his brain.
crippled or something.
But his mind was a little messed up.
Yeah.
He couldn't remember a lot of stuff. So I don't remember if that's what caused him to be a little more tame,
Mhm.
or if the writers have changed him.
I think you could say a little bit of both,
Yeah,
but probably more the latter.
yeah. And it wasn't until like Crisis when he finally reverted back to
Yeah.
being a dickhead.
Fucking dickhead.
Yeah. All right. If that's all the honorables worth mentioning.
Those are all the honorables worth mentioning. One of you should mention that.
Yeah. Honorably.
So I guess that means we'll go on over to a commercial.
Yep.
So away we shall go. And just like magic, we'll be back in a flash. Flash. All right, excellent. Commercial over. Thanks for the whoosh.
I'm still here. I just need to grab something.
Where are you rolling off to?
I am fucking cold. So I'm going to put on my Batman robe.
Well, speaking of flashes. Brandon, you want to take care of the Black Lightning book for us?
I can. I'm not sure what kind of segue that was, but you teed it up with Flash. But
yeah, like
we're talking about
Flash,
Black Lightning.
Flash of Lightning.
But you didn't make the connection there.
Well, and then it got derailed by Batman's robe.
Yeah. Anyway, Black Lightning #2 is brought to us by Brandon Thomas, with art from Fico Ossio, colors from Ulysses Areola, letters from Lucas Gattoni, and another cover from Fico Ossio and Ulysses Areola. And this is Chapter 2 of the Standard, which opens with Anissa Pierce checking in with presumably the Justice League's new, I guess, like therapy session or therapy robot or whatever the situation is, and basically is recapping a series of events we've already seen from the previous issue, from the night that Amanda Waller took all of the superpowers and basically tried to wipe superheroes off the face of the earth, and is giving her perspective on it, really kind of bitter towards her father and how she feels his standards are higher than anyone else is able to meet. And the therapy, unfortunately, is not going that well, as she continues to get more and more upset and angry the more she thinks about trying to live up to those standards. All the while, Jefferson and Jennifer are fighting yet another transformed metahuman whatever, back in Metropolis over in Hobbs Bay. But we'll catch up to them later. Yeah. Well, it seems it's a little bit more than a hobby, more like a permanent occupation, at least for now. Anyway, Jennifer is not taking the therapy well and ends up storming out, but this is not allowed, or at the very least not accepted by the program, and so it kind of shocks her basically and forces her to stay in the room while sending out a signal of black lightning that he needs to make his way back to the watchtower as soon as possible. So we cut back to Metropolis, where they're getting ready to head back, and Thunder checks in with the young metahuman who had kind of had his powers explore all over the bay, and reassures him that everything will be all right. They'll get to meet with Natasha Irons and soon be okay. But they can't quite head to the watchtower yet, as they need to report to yet another disturbance, this time a temporal disturbance, according to the Atom, as they make their way over to the Metropolis International Airport, where dinosaurs are attacking. Yeah.
I miss that level of Call of Duty.
Jeez, I know. So they find out that it's yet another metahuman causing this temporal disturbance, someone who's pulling dinosaurs out of time into the present, just, I guess, as a response to his powers manifesting. They're able to kind of knock him unconscious and stop the time portals, but the Raptors are still there. So Jefferson and Anissa are going to just take care of the Raptors that are still in the train, while we cut to what appears to be a press conference of some kind with a man named Councilman Harriman, who is yet another one of those crackpot crazy people that after every crisis is like, the person who caused the crisis was right, and you should totally believe them. I swear this happens every time. And this is just yet another example of that.
Yeah.
So Harriman is getting a little bit of flack from Ron Troop from the Daily Planet, is trying to, basically make the case that metahumans are not necessarily the victims that the Justice League is making them out to be, at least the metahumans that have newly emerged in the wake of absolute power, and that it's possible that they are responsible for the powers that they have now inherited. We cut over to Southside Heights, Metropolis, where Isaac Mitchell, the young boy that Jeff and Anissa had rescued in the last issue, is watching the, I guess, live press conference of everything that's going down. But his mother cuts the feed off and is basically like, don't watch this crap. It's not worth your time. Think about all the good that has happened to you. You met Black Lightning, you met Steel, you met, Thunder, or Lightning. Like, it's not so bad, and honestly, you should not be worried about these crazy people. But we cut back to the watchtower, where Jennifer is pretty much just like, I'm out of here. I'm tired of dealing with this therapy. And this is kind of why I didn't want to tell you that my powers were going crazy. But Anissa talks with Jennifer and at least seems to calm her down a little bit before they head over to Steelworks, where there are protests underway, basically following up from Councilman Harriman's rhetoric. And a bunch of people are just saying that the metas are a danger and that Waller was right again, because of course this was going to happen after a major crisis. But what seemed to be possibly just a normal protest has now devolved into an active threat, as some people have broken into Steelworks, and now Natasha needs to work with at least Anissa to kind of protect them from any further danger. So we see that Volcana, along with a couple of other people that I don't recognize, have broken into Steelworks, and now the two of them have to fend them off. So Natasha calls for armor in a very Iron Man kind of sequence, and manages to suit up alongside Anissa before the two jump into action to keep Steelworks safe. And that's where our issue ends. Yet another awesome one, awesome art, great character work. Yeah, I'm really digging this series, and I'm hoping it's one that can continue beyond. I think it was said it was going to be like 5 or 6 issues, but I hope it goes a little bit further than that if the sales are good. But yeah, no, particularly I'm just loving all the great character stuff that they've been doing, especially with Jennifer and Anissa, who I feel like haven't always gotten the most attention. So it's great to see them get the spotlight here. And then the ending sequence, which, spoilers, may or may not be my favorite moment for this week, was just really cool seeing Natasha suit up like that before her and Anissa jump into action. So yeah, no, I really dug this one. Gave it a 8.5 out of 10.
I will battle you in Pokemon TCG for that favorite moment of the week because
I will lose. I will
God,
definitely lose.
was it ever good? Why do you think I picked that game? Because I've been playing it for fucking years.
Of course. Well, I challenge you to drum off.
Oh,
I've got
will win.
I've got a couple of sticks. I'll lose, but I can do something.
Well, that's why I picked it, because that's something I
I could do a couple of things. I've never been in a band like some people. They're awesome. You know what? Okay, we need to be like civil about this and fair. Josh, you pick the game.
Beer pong.
Beer pong?
Oh,
Okay, I've played that like twice.
Oh wait! I know something
no.
something
Beer
that we
pong.
could actually do without having to wait forever is a game of Jeopardy.
Can we do it before the end of the show?
I
Because
mean,
we're fighting over favorite moment of the week right now.
Oh god.
I mean, I don't know how you're gonna pull off beer pong.
Can't we just share?
Oh, maybe so. I should teach my daughter some good values anyway. So
You
good point.
could just pretend that you were somehow really good at it, but you didn't actually know how to play because you never played before.
Yeah. Well,
It was just.
I'll say I might have another favorite moment of the week later on, but we will see. But no, that was such a cool moment. When I read it, my jaw nearly dropped. I was like, oh my god, this is so fucking awesome. And it's at that point I was like, you know what? Steel is cooler than Iron Man. Fuck Tony Stark. Go Natasha Irons, go John Henry. Yeah. Like I'm all for Steel now. But no, this issue was fun in some interesting ways. A lot of family drama, understandably so. I wish there was a little less, but it's making for some very good character moments in this family. I agree that this should become an ongoing because, damn, Brandon Thomas just needs an ongoing by now. He's had like how many miniseries? Give him a fucking ongoing.
Well, maybe not a few, but definitely a couple at this point. And it would be nice to, to finally get to stretch his legs. But I also see so much potential in this series of Black Lightning being kind of the official Justice League metahuman liaison or director of like the metahuman thing. Like there's so much more they can do as the Justice League story continues to unfold. So
and be really cool to see him being an actual member of the field team for the Justice League, having his own book again.
Yeah, I agree.
Ongoing alongside Justice League Unlimited. That'd be really cool. Yeah, no, that's about all I could say right now. It was a great read. I'm excited to see what's going to come next. I'm giving it an 8.75 out of 10.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, conflict, relationships, new characters, new powers, Natasha rocking a new suit, Iron Man style, like you guys said. I didn't put that together, but I mean, it's right there. It's pretty cool to see that in print, and I say that because one, I like the Black Lightning family of characters, and two, it's really good. Osseo's art's awesome, and the story definitely has me interested. Black Lightning gets an 8.25 out of 10 from me.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah. It's I'm glad it's back, man. It's feeling pretty special.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was quite a super story.
Indeed.
But yours was better. All right. Yeah. Faster than a speeding bullet, perhaps?
Or at least the speeding editor.
Perhaps.
Yes. Because she wasn't faster than a speeding bullet, as we find out in Superwoman special number 1. Tag. I say number 1, but let's face it. it's just gonna be the only one. Bear with me while I find the fucking credits. Holy shit. Are they even in this book?
They should be. I mean, you can at least see the names in the cover.
I guess. Yeah, I was looking for like full names because I don't know everyone's first name. Oh wait, no, I found it. It's very, very tiny on the screen. Okay.
There you go.
Yes, so this is Superwoman Special. It's part of the All In Initiative. Written by Joshua Williamson, art from Edwin Galmon, Laura Braga, and Nicolas Mezia. Colors from Rex Locus, letters from Dave Sharp, and the cover before you from Edwin Galmon, which I really like. It's a very nice cover. Mm-hmm. So this is Lois Lane as Superwoman, fresh off the heels of the adventures in Absolute Power. We open up at the Daily Planet where Lois is typing feverishly at her laptop to try and write out some kind of story, but is getting nothing but writer's block. But in comes Lana Lang and Kara Zor-El to her rescue, try and just spend some time with their friend and see what's going on in the world and try to figure out what's going on with her as Superwoman now, because that's new and they're a little worried about her and want to figure out what's going on. Well, she then goes into the entire origin story she had going back to during the events of Absolute Power, where she found the super suit that Lex had, and she decided to put it on because Amanda Waller was wreaking havoc, hurt her son, and her family was in jeopardy. But through all this, she also found out that the armor was somehow connected to Amanda Waller's super amazos. And while she did save some people and save some part of the day, on the way to the big fight in Gamora, she was intercepted by a number of the super amazos. The armor was compromised and she fell unconscious. And last thing she remembered was falling towards the water of the ocean. And then she wakes up without the armor, in a suit, like a business suit, business casual, on top of the Daily Planet on the rooftop. And is found by Jimmy Olsen and Silver Banshee, who are sneaking up there to make out. But she, despite being the boss, does not give two shits because she needs to figure out what the fuck happened. And then we jump back to the present, where Lois then continues to tell Lana and Kara. After that, she found Clark, found out that the heroes won, and then found out that Clark was not the one that saved her. She still doesn't know who saved her or what happened, but they brush it off as maybe the armor had a failsafe that brought her to safety. And then they get back. We see another brief glimpse into the past, back at the Daily Planet, where Lois is having her daily meeting and starting to really enjoy the editor-in-chief role. And back in her office, doors closed, she's looking for her red pen. She loves it because it looks like blood, and she finds it under a couch. So she goes to get it and then realizes that not only does she hold the pen standing up, but she's also holding the couch above her head with one hand. Da-da-da. Yeah, so then she rushes out the door because that's a little shocking, heads straight to Supercorp and shows Mercy and Lena Luthor that, oh yeah, she's got superpowers now. So they run some tests, figure out that her cells are supercharged like a Kryptonian, but they do not know how long it could last. And if she continues to use the power, she might just burn it out. So she needs to be careful because they don't know what the long-standing effects could be. And on the way home, she comes across a police shootout with some very armored bank robbers, saving the police chief from various shots fired directly at him by shoving him out of the way using super speed. And it's at that point that she reveals to the gals that she's not faster than a speeding bullet, but she can certainly stand up to one. To which they both say, "That's how you find out you're invulnerable. That's not great, Lois." But then she also revealed that she keeps it on her suit at all times as a reminder to how dangerous all of this is. So she keeps that to keep herself kind of grounded in a way. And then again, in a brief glimpse in the past, Clark has returned home, trying to find Lois. Lois in again business casual outfit and glasses. Not only any glasses, but one of Clark's old glasses. And she says she's wearing them for dramatic effect. Goes out to the balcony, rips open her shirt, and says, "I'm Superwoman." Clark is kind of just confused, but then she's
like,
okay. Yeah. So then she slips over the balcony railing and begins to fly. So they fly off together and have a nice romantic evening in the sky. They then go to the Justice League Watchtower, where the Atoms and Mr. Terrific run a few more tests and find basically the same results that Mercy and Lena Luthor had. So with that, Clark and Lois realize that now they can have some fun together. They go and train, and then they that's still the past. Sorry, it's a bit of back and forth, but none of it was ever actually labeled as such. In the past, they then come across in Metropolis some brimstone demons attacking Metropolis. So the entire super family is there to try and take care of things. John gets caught by a combination of a lot of the brimstones to form a brimstone giants. And he can't get out of its grip, but then Lois shows up as Superwoman, punches it out, and that's how she reveals herself to John. So then together, as one big happy family, they take care of the brimstone demons and save the day. And after having that conversation with Kara and Lana, and just getting all that out in the open, she heads back to the Daily Planet, realizing that maybe her writer's block is cured. And she writes at super speed, writes out a very, very good story, but then doesn't really feel good about it, potentially deletes it, but then hears a cry for help and flies out into Metropolis to save the day yet again. But that's not all, super fans. That continues in the pages of Superman, but we have a small epilogue where we see at Supercorp with Mercy and Lena, they actually have Lois's supersuit that they said they could not find, but they kept it secret. As Mercy says, Lois can never know why Lex built the armor. We then see the Atoms on the Justice League satellite talking about Lois's powers and how after the events of Absolute Power, some of the powers are all mixed up. But the problem is Superman's level of power is extremely rare, and everyone who has that power is accounted for. They all still have it. So that begs the question, whose powers does Superwoman have, and what's going to happen when they find out she took them? As we see in Deep Space, Zod.
Dun, dun, dun.
Whoa.
The beginning. So I hadn't read this issue before I saw the epilogue. I'm gonna be honest with you, because I've read it and it made me question things, such as how did the powers in space get taken, because it was the Amazers doing the job. And somebody in the comments asked that very same question, and then somebody replied to him saying, "Oh, it's explained in the issue," but I don't think that was explained at all. If you guys can enlighten me, please do. But right now, that's my problem with this story. Otherwise, I very much enjoyed it. It was a nice little fun romp with Lois as Superwoman, just learning to be a hero and learning how to deal with powers and the joy that can come with it, but also knowing to stay a little more grounded. Basically, a fast-paced look at Clark Kent's life growing up with superpowers. I thought it was a nice little touch to have Lois Lane, who's already got somewhat experience with this in a way, but no real experience having them herself. It was really cool to see that unfold in real time. And the pairing of Kara and Lana to come talk to Lois and be their be buddies for her, and just be a sounding board for her to bounce stuff off of, which is really cool. You have Superwoman, and Supergirl all together. I thought that was a really cool little trio. Also, Lana's little nod about you could be Superwoman blue, I'll be Superwoman red. I'm like, fucking A. Yes.
Oh, God.
That's a New 52 callback, and even that was a callback to the 90s. Yeah. I don't care. I really liked the Lana Lang Superwoman series. That was cool. I don't know how you guys felt, but
barely remember it.
yeah. I really enjoyed it. I've got all three trades.
I remember like Lois died at the beginning.
Yeah, that was a bit of a surprising first issue, and it's honestly what kind of hooked me, because the ad campaign for weeks to months before that was Superman is dead. Yeah. Superwoman will rise, and the ad campaign just had Lois, and that was it as Superwoman, and that was what drew people in to, okay, we're going to see Lois Lane as Superwoman. That's cool because Superman's dead. And then the first issue happens, and it's Lois and Lana. They're sharing the power of Superwoman. And at the end of the first issue, Lois dies and doesn't come back. And then, surprise, it's a Lana-centric book. I'm like, what the fuck?
That's not what I signed up for.
You know? Yeah, it's not what I signed up for, but I think I'm going to stay for the sausages anyway. Like, it looks good. Right, but no, that's an entirely different time in comics. This is a modern day Superwoman that I am honestly all for. I really like the art. I really like the story. I thought it was interesting. As long as we get a bit of a more concrete explanation as to why Zod's powers, while being somewhere in outer space, could be taken, despite the Super Amazos being centered on Earth.
And I thought mostly taking powers of people who were on Earth.
Yeah. And can I also just nitpick something? This has been in my mind for years, if not most of my life. It's been a running gag in Superman comics that Clark would always hit his deadlines for his stories, despite spending 23 hours a day as Superman, because he would type at super speed, right? And now Lois is doing the same, and that's been a cool little thing. It's a cool little sight gag for Superman comics, right? But like, what kind of processing power does this computer have that it could take the characters at super speed? You know, even a typewriter would fucking explode.
I mean, I guess it depends on the amount of pressure that's being applied with each type.
Well, for a typewriter, yeah, but like,
because I mean, you could still type really fast, but not necessarily type with a bunch of force, you know.
But if you're using a typewriter, like the paper's got to move.
Yeah.
And like, if you're typing at super speed, that slider's going right out the fucking wall.
Or you just give it, you just give it like a little tap, and that is enough, because you have super strength. That is enough to push it to the other end.
I'm just picturing the entire story on one letter. Like, it's all there's just one letter piled on top of each other over and over again. And if you read it linearly, it's a fucking story. But even the computer, like, how fast can a person type on a computer before it needs to catch up? You know?
I mean, I've seen some people type pretty fast.
And I've seen some pretty slow computers that I type pretty slow and has to catch up to me. I don't know, that thing always bugged me. I'm just like, there's no way a computer in the 90s is taking this story in 30 seconds. But that's just a nitpick on my part.
It's fun to think about something
It
like that.
is. It is. Yeah, so I'm gonna give this issue an 8.25. Tentative
Nice.
8.5 if we get a solid, good answer as to what the fuck is going on with Zod.
Yeah, 8
I
out
can
of
tell
10
you
for
what's
me.
going on right now with Zod. He's sitting there being really pissed
Yeah.
off.
What happened to my powers?
Is that nothing new for Zod? Like,
A little bit more now that he can't fucking
Yeah.
fly to the bathroom in the middle of the night.
yeah.
I thought this was a great Superwoman blues story. Got a chance to see Lois dealing with the powers. Got to see her, Kara, Lana, and Lois all suited up together. I wish Paige was there. The rest of the super fan was. It'd just be really cool to have a double page splash of just the super fan femmes.
Girls
just
get
pose
it
looking
done.
cool.
Yeah.
Sorry. Every time
Drawn by Ivan Reyes.
I know that's become like kind of a meme at this point, but
Yeah.
every time I think of like moments like that, I think of the boys.
Yeah. Oh, girls really do get it
Like,
done.
the girls get it done moment.
That honestly,
Uh,
that was a badass moment. That might have been my favorite moment of the show.
uh,
And drawn by Ivan Reyes.
Yes.
Yes. Anyway, great Superwoman blue story, like I said, right up until the epilogue, and then it became amazing. And the art was amazing through nearly every drawing. My final score is a 9 out of 10.
nice.
I'm honestly surprised, Josh. I thought, because I'm having problems with this issue, I thought you were going to share in my problems with this issue. I thought we were going to have the same problems.
And being written by Williamson, no less.
Yeah,
I mean,
know, right?
that's
I'm
the thing, but
surprised.
like I'm that's even besides the point. I thought you were going to like share in my disdain right now.
Playing around with the whole Lana and Lois thing. I mean, it's happened before. I can excuse little things like that because of Infinite Frontier, which he did and he's taking advantage of right now. But I'm excited to see where it goes. And if I'm being honest, I really, really hope that both Lana and Lois retain their powers. I know it's not going to happen,
Yeah.
but I really hope it does.
I mean, Lana definitely will because she's had them so far. But Lois, yeah, that remains to be seen.
We still don't have a definitive answer as to what's going on with Lana and why she has all of her powers and how badly the Genesis is affecting her. But that's a different story.
Oh
for a
yeah,
different
that was during Steelworks, wasn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
I wonder if that will ever get addressed again.
it better.
Well then.
Well
Yeah.
then, indeed.
Yeah, Brandon, you gave your score right, an 8.
8 out of 10.
8 out of 10.
Yeah, I guess I don't have too much else to add other than I also want to see where the Zod mystery goes. And I don't know, there's always something kind of neat about seeing like a what would you call it? Like the classic superpower training montage.
Yeah.
So seeing Lois like slowly try to figure out her powers while Clark is there to cheer on. I'm like, oh, that's sweet. So
Right, and
I really dug that.
naturally she's acing it.
What's that?
Naturally, she's acing all of the training.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And apparently, I didn't even notice
Obviously.
this, but
Fucking
I also
wasted
saw
anything.
some panels from this issue on the DC Comics subreddit, and apparently, well, I don't know if it's been confirmed, but someone speculated that one of the exercises that she was doing, which is flying through rings, is a reference to Superman 64,
Oh
which
shit.
I thought was hilarious.
I gotta check that out. I didn't even book that. I think you're right.
I didn't think about it either. I didn't make the connection, but I saw someone say like, "Is this a Superman 64 reference?" I was like, "No way."
Oh god, that's so good.
Well, speaking of Superman, we got a book about him right now. Action Comics 1079. You guys want to hear about that one? No? All
Not
right, never mind.
really.
Yeah.
All right. Next up is Batman and Robin. Brandon, take it away. All right.
Oh
We
my
got
god, it is.
We got
It's a green circle.
It's gotta be, right?
That
The more
is-
I think about it, I'm like, it's gotta be.
It definitely is a Superman 64 reference. Sorry, Josh. I just needed a.
Oh, you're all good.
Holy shit! There's another one behind Clark. Like, that's wild. Okay, sorry.
Of all the games to reference, not that
You
there are
know?
many Superman games, but
And I could be wrong, but the
Oh,
pose
crazy
she's
guy.
making, I'm pretty
looks
sure
yeah,
that's the
looks
pose that
exactly
was on the
like
cover.
yeah.
Because that's like the classic Superman toss
Mhm.
pose. Holy shit.
Oh, Superman 64,
Yep.
a game no one is nostalgic for.
Nope. And it doesn't stop me from spending $10 buying the cart because I wanted it.
Because why not?
Exactly. It's history. One day, it'll be worth $12.
Yeah,
You
maybe
might be onto something.
maybe even 15. I mean, dare to dream,
I
baby.
don't know. Like, let's not get overboard here.
I know that seems crazy, but I believe.
I'll take $14.50.
And that's my final offer.
Yep. You can buy yourself maybe a pizza
Maybe.
without tax.
Maybe a pizza.
Maybe a pizza.
It might be a pizza. It
Maybe.
might not be a pizza.
I mean, I was thinking like a whole pie, but you could definitely get at least 2 slices.
Yeah. I mean, shit. Prices of slices around here, I could get quite a few slices. Hell, I could buy enough slices I could make my own pizza pie.
Hell yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Just gonna put them together.
Yeah. Be a small one, but that's all I need. I'm one person.
Exactly. And you earned it, my friend.
You know?
You sold Superman 64 for a
Exactly.
decent price.
Yeah. $14.50.
Right.
It's profit in my pocket. Not
Yeah.
I'm okay with 6 slices because man, if I cut that into 8, I couldn't eat 8 slices.
Yeah.
Well, you wouldn't have to.
I don't know if I've ever eaten 8 slices in one sitting before.
Yeah.
Ever?
Ever.
Oh God, I did. I have. I've eaten an entire pizza
I-
full
Pizza.
of once.
I usually tap out at 4,
Yeah.
but well,
Oh, no.
that's if I'm really hungry.
Have you ever heard that old joke though? Of somebody's like, how do you want the pizza cut? Do you want 8 slices or 12 slices? No. 8 slices is fine. I couldn't eat 12.
I've never heard that joke, but I love that.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's funny as hell. Sweet. Oh, I'm totally using that the next time I order pizza in person. That's awesome. Something else that is awesome is Action Comics number 1079. It's a 2-parter with a cover from Clayton Henry and Tomu Mori. First up is Phantoms Part 10. Written by Mark Waid, artist Michael Shelfer, with colors by Matt Herms and letters by Dave Sharp. Oh, we start off with the Phantom Zone escapees already trying to take over Earth and control it. We also start out with everyone but Superman himself accounted for. Even Power Girl, the Captain, Martian Manhunter, Star Sapphire, Donna Troy, Zatanna, Firestorm, whole bunch of people, no Superman, helping fight the Krypton cons. And it seems the news knows about the Phantom Zone and everything to do with it. Before Mon-El scooped him up out of the sun, the Zoners, I prefer Krypton cons, but I guess that's what they're going with, they nearly beat Clark to death. Mon-El saves him, he recharges in his med suit and goes back out. A good majority of the Zoners are at the Fortress of Solitude, and Clark sends Dr. Light there to expose them all to red solar light so that they lose their powers. But the smarter ones are gone, like across the universe gone, attacking Gran, New Thanagar, and more. Wow. And then next up is Supergirl in Universe End Part 10. Rico, written by Mariko Tamaki, art from Skylar Patridge, with colors by Marissa Louise and lettering from Becca Carey. Well, here you go, Rob. I don't think he's on screen right now, but this is the action that he has been asking for. Destruction is there, confronting fear and pulling her toward him to continue destroying worlds. Supergirl speaks out against him and then steps in to fight on behalf of fear. Destruction starts to mock her for being only one person against a force of destruction, but that's when she says that she's not alone, and we see Fear standing next to her and Power Girl there psychically. Things don't look so great for Destruction. So this has been like microdosing a really good story. And man, it really stepped things up in this one. Patridge's art is just a great fit for Tamaki and writing this particular story. It rocks. Action Comics continues to be a great book week after week with story and art every single week. That's amazing. That's amazing to me how they can do that. And I am so glad that this team keeps bringing satisfaction my way. I can't complain at all. Action gets an easy 8.75 out of 10. Oops.
I will
Nice.
second that.
Damn it.
Yeah. I know. I will second that score 8.75 as well. The Supergirl story is just, it's good. It's interesting. It's finally like we've got a lot of substance now that we're in part 10. I just like, I'm feeling now that these characters are just going to be new characters. So maybe it's not somebody we would know unless I'm missing something I don't know. But it's an interesting little tale. The main story in Action Comics, it's wild how big it is. This is part 10.
Yeah.
Like,
right?
Yeah. And it doesn't feel like they're padding the story at all. Like, Mark Waid has written this multi-part story that's really fucking good, and nothing is
on
a weekly basis, no less, and nothing is like too much or too little or padded. Like, it's paced really, really well, damn near perfectly, I think.
I'd give
It's
you that.
crazy. Even spending like 3 issues on Krypton, and it was fine. Yeah, like I can see now why this became weekly, because it was going to be such a long story if it wasn't weekly. By the time he gets off Krypton, you're like, okay, now what was going on in the Phantom Zone? This would take a year. I don't even know how long this story arc's going to be.
Yeah, if it was monthly, it would have been a 12-month story.
Yeah, that's a lot. So, yeah, kudos to this. It was really well done. I love it. It was 8.75, right, Josh? That's
Yeah, no, 8.25 for me. Again, I do feel like the main story has really kind of kept its excitement going despite being weekly, and just goes to show that you can have a story that moves pretty quickly, from week to week, but still keeps things engaging and exciting. And I definitely feel that way with this one. So, wondering what the hell is going to happen next, especially for Supergirl. But good stuff.
I have a question for you guys. More of an opinion question. Now that we've seen a few different designs for Natasha Iron's armor, I want to know, what do you like best? Do you like the modified bulky armor she had at the end of Black Lightning? Do you like the classic all sleek silver style with a really long ponytail of her first appearance, or do you like the modern, as we see on the cover here, Action Comics, of her with the kind of hooded sweatshirt?
I mean, for as much as I love the classic design, I'm not gonna lie, the hood is really cool.
It is, yeah.
And I kind of like even if the rest of the Super family ended up losing the jackets that they've had in this kind of since the new era, I would still appreciate her keeping the hood because I think it just complements the armor really nicely.
Yeah, it really does. And kind of helps her stand out from her uncle.
Yeah.
Become her own steel in a way. Yeah, it just popped into my head. I saw that. Like, yeah, Natasha's actually had a few different costume designs over the years. It was
this
kind of cool. Yeah.
No, I dig it.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Well, speaking of, I feel like that's
people who have had many costumes over the years.
I was gonna say sidekicks, but I feel like that's an insult to Natasha. At this point, she's her own hero.
Yeah. I was gonna say, speaking of people who've had many costumes over the years, and trust me, I know.
But he's got two in this very issue.
Yeah, we can talk about our next book featuring Batman and Robin, also called Batman and Robin. This is Batman and Robin number 16, written by Philip Kennedy Johnson, with art from Miguel Mendonça and Carmine Di Giandomenico on pages 7 and 8. Colors all by Marcelo Maiolo and letters from Steve Wands, with yet another spectacular cover from Javier Fernandez and Marcelo Maiolo. We cut to the ruins of Arkham Asylum to start, where a bunch of obnoxious, weird, strange, odd people. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. We're a bunch of true crime fans are at the ruins of Arkham Asylum.
You misread that sentence, didn't you?
I'm sorry. It was autocorrect, dude. It was happening all last week.
Yeah.
Like, it was only now it's going to happen again. I don't know. Yeah. It's weird that there was so much description when I was just trying to write true crime. I don't know why that happened. Anyway.
Somebody must be messing with your autocorrect.
Someone's got to be messing with my autocorrect. Because there's no way I would think that.
No.
So a bunch of
weirdos,
people, let's call them that, true crime fans who insist that they are not cultists, are at the ruins of Arkham Asylum. You know, perfectly normal behavior because they're so excited that Gotham City is about to become the new place for Memento to do some crazy, horrific murders, which naturally is the kind of thing you should be excited about.
It's going down for real.
Yeah. So they're all excited and, you know, are just there to kind of reflect on what's to come when one of them gets a strange message that alludes to their murder. And that's when some strange voices start speaking in poetry, as well as strange creatures emerging, and basically manage to kill a bunch of the true crime fans, while leaving 3 of them behind. For reasons that will become clear later. We cut to later, or I guess I should say earlier, in the morning and the next day when Batman and Robin are on the scene, investigating things that are happening. Batman is looking basically just at how the bodies died and certain stuff, while Damian is a little distracted, something that Batman recognizes before quickly calling out to Damian to get him to basically focus up and try and look at how these people died. And that's when Batman recognizes that the circumstances of death look similar to the case that he had went through in London, the Memento case, in that they had similar causes of death and similar, I guess, deformities and how they died, with their milky eyes and broken blood vessels. And of course, around the same time, who should show up but a mysterious person from Batman's past, introduced by Jim Gordon, who apparently is here consulting on this case, but introduces none other than Catherine Lautrec, who recently had been with Scotland Yard, but has now taken an interest in the Memento case. How convenient. Obviously, Batman is a little skeptical of the thing, but is really pushing back on the theory that this new Memento is not the original Memento. It has to be a copycat, something which Catherine disagrees.
Cannot be over 100 years old, I'm telling you.
It's just not possible. No one can be that old, except Josh. But anyway. Ha 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 ha.
You suck.
So anyway, Batman tells Lautrec to meet him at Arkham Tower tonight at 9 p.m., where he's going to question a patient, and tells her not to wait up. And we cut to Bruce and Damian in some wicked-looking stealth costumes, running across the, I guess, rooftops at what appears to be the Gotham shipyards or something, talking to each other first in Russian, then in Serbian, basically just practicing their language skills. And Damien clearly has something on his mind that he wants to talk to Bruce about, but Bruce is very focused on the mission, and wants to stay focused on that. But Damien kind of keeps pushing back, asking questions about Catherine Lautrec and personal stuff. And that's when Bruce is like, all right, you want to talk? Let's just talk instead of train, because you're clearly unfocused. And he also mentions the fact that he apparently has been skipping school, seems more unfocused, and it just is distracted lately. And that's when Damien reveals that apparently he has been skipping school to volunteer at the library, and that he forged Bruce's signature to get permission to work at the library from work at the hospital, where the doctor we met in the first issue, Dr. Bashar, is working, which basically means that Damien is now a real teenager because he's forged his parents' signature and didn't tell him about it. So Damien has now become a true teenager. But it's clear that Damien's been struggling with something. We know it's the death of the little girl who had been injured in that first issue that is kind of weighing on his conscience, while Batman is kind of trying to get Damien to divulge in what he's been feeling, and maybe ask why he's been so unfocused on crime fighting lately, while Damien feels that maybe there's something else he could be doing. Maybe he could even take tonight off and go volunteer at Arkham Asylum, which apparently he had signed up to do today. So he kind of storms off, angry and upset at the conversation they'd had, while Batman goes over to Arkham Tower to meet up with Lautrec, and interrogate one Jonathan Crane, Master of Fear, who apparently might be familiar with the Gravedigger's Poppy, a mysterious drug or something of that nature, that they believe Crane is familiar with, which he, of course, denies at first, but later is revealed to know quite a bit about it. And that's when Bruce goes full crazy Batman mode, tries to get more information out of Crane, as he slowly realizes that the jig is up, and that him trying to lie about not knowing anything just ain't going to work. And that's when Crane reveals that the man just wanted the poppy, and that apparently he is the devil and has crossed an ocean just to punish Batman. And that is when he lashes out at the guard behind him, noticing that guard was just about to fire on Crane. We reveal that guard is one of the 3 people that had survived the attack on the Arkham remains from the previous night. Just then, an explosion goes off somewhere in Arkham, and a bunch of gas leaks through. Batman offers his last gas mask to Lautrec. He doesn't have a spare, and is now going to have to confront someone who may or may not be the original Memento, although he seemingly now believes that it is truly Memento, making his assault on Arkham Tower. Whew, what an issue. Very intense, very emotional in many ways, but more than anything, very captivating. I remember kind of walking away from this issue and just being like, damn, I gotta sit and think about it. Unfortunately, I didn't have much time because we were about to start recording. So yeah, where to start? As usual, Philip Kennedy Johnson really just gets the characters, and especially the dynamic, the scenes between Bruce and Damian in this issue were really kind of gut-wrenching to read, but captivating no less. But in particular, it feels like Batman was also kind of struggling with a lot of what's going on, especially possibly having to admit that this is the real Memento and not just a copycat, and how that is affecting his mental state. So it's a lot in this very emotionally packed issue, but definitely was exciting and engaging to read. So I gave this one an 8.75 out of 10. I'm not even going to talk about the art because the art was really good in this issue, but I was just so engrossed in the story, especially by the end where he's like flipping out on Crane. That really got to me.
Yeah, that was a pretty intense moment.
Mm-hmm.
So I was reading Josh's new villain list.
Oh, nice.
I like about half of it.
Yeah, it's excessive. Help me pare it down some.
Yeah. But there's that line from Batman where he's like, "There's the look I love putting on the Scarecrow's face, fear." And I was like, whoa, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I haven't heard you talk like that in quite some time.
Yeah, buddy, that's what I'm talking about.
Jesus.
Give me my Batman back.
Yeah, that was some good shit. No, this was a very, very good issue. The father-son dynamic with the family drama, I was like, I was getting kind of tired, but then I'm reminded that Damian is also a teenager now, and like as much as this is the father-son family drama, at the same time it's also teenager drama, and I get it. And he's also going through some shit, so like I kind of appreciate this. This is him growing up in a way and trying to find his own path, and also be a teenager who's also Batman's son. Like it's a big thing. So no, I really like it. It's cool what they're doing with this. Philip Kennedy Johnson's crafting a hell of a story, as he always does. And the art, of course, really well done, really good stuff. This is going to get an 8.5 from me.
Awesome. Excuse me. I read this, I closed it, and I was like, damn. Damian full on doubting if he's Robin. Following his grandpa into medicine. And
that's not what's happening, and you know it.
No. He's questioning what his purpose is.
And whether or not he should be Robin.
No.
No.
Yeah.
He is a Robin, yes.
Right. He may be more interested in following his grandpa and his good grandpa into medicine. And what a hell of a burn on Batman with the Pennyworth dying because of Batman's mistake line. Jesus Christ.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Well, I know, but it's like, fuck you, Dad. Fuck you. And we're officially in supernatural territory, and I think that's cool. The storyline's really good. The way it's being done, I like it. The personalities, like Brandon said, PKJ just gets the characters. And the art is dynamite. Such a nearly perfect package. Damian wanting to quit, this whole questioning what his role is in life, it has to be handled perfectly. And I think we've got a real good talent to try and handle that. I gave it a 9 out of 10.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Can I show you guys what I got?
No.
Too bad.
Good job. Oh, very cool.
I got Parallax Sinestro.
Nice.
Sweet.
Yeah. I had to. It's
That's
really cool.
Awesome.
Does it have the white streak?
It does.
Awesome.
It also has a little tiny Parallax.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out what to do with it. I'm tempted to like glue it to the ring so it looks like it's coming out of the ring a little bit.
Mm.
Or maybe the chest. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I wonder
we'll
if
have
they'll
to
ever
see.
do a Kyle Rayner Parallax from Sinestro Core War.
That would be dope. So then we get all the Parallax.
Exactly.
Yeah. But you know what those versions of the characters have in common?
No,
What's up?
tell me.
Absolutely
pads?
none of them appear in the book we're about to talk about.
Ah.
It's true. Not a
Yeah.
single one,
Not a
which is
single
kind
one.
of weird.
Yeah, kind of in a way. Once we get into what happens in Green Lantern number 18, our final book of the week, also the end of this story arc, and I will say, quote unquote, season 1 of Jeremy Adams' run. So this is Civil Cord Part 3. This is written by Jeremy Adams with art and cover by Zermanico, colors from Romulo Fajardo Jr., and letters from Dave Sharp. We open up exactly where we left off last issue with oh my god, I forgot his name. Tharos, Lord Premier Tharos, complete with the power of Olgren and the Dark Star within him on Oa, amassing his giant multicolored lantern core with him, using the will of the old gods, and he's called forth is apparently they're called shadow lanterns. I think that's the first time that was mentioned in this book. To Oa to destroy it and take down the Green Lantern Corps for good. So on Oa, the Green Lanterns we have available are doing whatever they can to take on the Shadow Lanterns, and they're doing a damn good job, but it is a hard-fought battle, and they're slowly weakening with their defenses. So Hal realizes that maybe they should move from defense to offense and goes straight for Theros, asking for some help from his fellow Lanterns, including Sinestro, who vows to keep the Shadow Lanterns distracted long enough, in his words, for whatever foolhardy thing Hal plans to do. So we jump inside the Source Lantern, where Varen is absorbing as much Source Lantern energy as possible, and is using it to fucking ads take not really just take on, but more so destroy or absorb the power of the Guardians that are inside. And apparently that is what was inside the Source Lantern, was various members of the Guardians, dozens even. I don't know when that happened. That might have been in the run that shall not be named. I could be wrong.
I could not remember.
Yeah, I don't remember that at all. But Kyle is also there, and he is able to stand up, makes a sword construct, and takes the fight to Varen, and they have it out. Meanwhile, Kilowog and Jessica Cruz in the Chamber of the Unseeing are still, Jess is oh my god, what am I trying to say? Kilowog is under control still, using yellow lantern energy and binding Jessica with some yellow snakes. And she uses her own willpower and her own strength and knowledge of fear and willpower to snap Kilowog out of everything that's happening. And we finally see, with Kilowog remembering his recent past, what the hell happened on Korugar. So what had happened was... Yeah. So he was fighting with Hal, and then the Lantern took him, and then he was semi-inducted into the Sinestro Corps, and then the Lantern blew up. He heard a voice saying, "You inspire great fear. You must carry my flame, for there are those who want to extinguish it." And he admitted that the warmth of the yellow light felt good, but that it was gone as the lantern exploded. The power battery exploded. And then some members of the Shadow Lanterns find Kilowog and say that Lord Premier Theros will want to interrogate him. And Lord Premier Theros kind of does just that, and instead indoctrinates Kilowog into his Shadow Lantern Corps. Where Kilowog apparently is just very skilled with yellow light now. But he's back to green thanks to Jess, and now the two of them get back into the world and join the fight. Carol, now we get back to wherever she is with the Predator, who is really sticking to the namesake Predator. being uber fucking creepy, even confessing love for Carol Ferris, being the embodiment of love and all that. Yeah, a little creepier than that, but yeah. Carol just doesn't like it at all, and is really trying her best to fight against it. Meanwhile, Hal has broken through the Shadow Lantern offense amongst various other members of the Earth Lanterns and is gone straight to Theros, but his power with the old gods is way too strong, and gigantic fucking cable-like tentacles come, like hundreds of them, come pouring out of something. And it's too much for the lanterns to overtake. They can't get close enough. But this is when the source lantern cracks open and explodes. And we see that Varen ended up winning the fight. Kyle is unconscious. Varen and Theros see each other and figure, you're gonna fuck with me. I'm gonna fuck with you too. Because okay, let's fight. So they start fighting, and then the Earth Lanterns figure now's our chance. Let's take them both at the same time. But how are we going to do that? John, what do we do? There's a big hole in space. Let's send them back through because that's where the power came from, and that's where they need to go. So they're doing what they can. Varen and Theros figure if the Earth Lanterns are going to fight against them, they may as well have a truce and take out the Lanterns first, and then they can continue their fight. But as they are getting the upper hand on the Lanterns, Kilowog and Jess appear and give just enough extra juice needed to send Theros and Varen through the portal into the Dark Star realm, and it closes behind them, but not before Varen sees something in the distance, screaming, "What is that?" And Theros turns around and says, "No, not you," as all he hears is the power, my ring, my hunger, and then the portal closes. And that is the last we see of those two. We then see Ellie and Kelly in the Shadow Realm. Ellie tells Kelly it is time to wake up. Everything's good. It's over. And then she wakes up, and some voice off panel says, "You're with friends." And that's the last time we see Kelly for this issue. Oa is now saved, but it's a wreck. The Guardians are back, albeit slightly changed. But let's face it, the entire emotional spectrum has changed.
No wiggly wobbly.
Yep, Kyle's still a White Lantern as far as we know, and anybody anywhere can manifest a ring color. Kyle's calling them the Fractal Lanterns. And as Hal puts it, the universe has become lawless and chaotic. It's practically a Wild West. Lucky for him, he knows a few good marshals that might just be able to sort it out. Which includes Carol. Wherever she is, hopefully she can make it home. And we see her with Predator still. Now she's fighting against Predator and vows that Predator really doesn't know what love is. Because she's going to show what love really is. Blasts it with her ring, and Predator disappears.
Bye-bye.
Yep, and that's when Carol starts to feel whole again. Heads back to the ship, carrying the survivors from the Thanagar explosion, and finishes off with saying she's ready to start again, even if I have to start from square one. That feels like a segue into Justice League.
Mm-hmm.
At least to me. We then get a little epilogue with I don't remember the guy's name, but I'm going to call him the Sorrow Lantern, Carol's unfortunate ex-fiance.
Nathan Broom?
Nate,
Yes.
yeah. Oh yeah, Broom, yeah, because Gil Broom. Yeah, Nathan Broom flew somewhere into the universe onto a desolate planet with a mountainside castle, looking for some way to stop the pain and helplessness and flood of emotions. And a voice inside the castle says, "I can help you to stop feeling. I can help everyone stop feeling. forever. And we see, and I can't remember his fucking name, but the sun vampire. Do you guys remember?
God.
I looked it up the other day and now I don't remember it. It's like Star something.
Star.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because he
He was
showed
in
up
Justice
very
League.
briefly. Oh yeah, in Justice League, but also for some reason I remembered him from an appearance in Flash.
Yeah.
Star. I don't think it's. No, it's not Star Slayer. It's a Mike Relpa.
Star Killer. That's what I'm going with.
Starbreaker.
Starbreaker.
Luciphage. The Starbreaker. Yes. The energy vampire. Yeah, so that was a nice little surprise at the end. So the Civil War is over, but the mission lives on. The next chapter begins in Green Lantern number 19 and Green Lantern Fractured Spectrum on sale next month. So that is the end of quote unquote season 1 of Jeremy Adams' Green Lantern. Leaves a bit to be desired still, because this is why I'm still putting it in like season terms. Consider this 18 episodes of season 1, leaving some stuff for season 2, because we still don't know the full extent of what's going on with Kyle, the full extent of the emotional spectrum. What's like, can Kilowog still access the Yellow Lantern energy? Sinestro still has Red Lantern energy. We need to figure out what's going on with that. Where is Kelly and who is with her? What is her status in terms of Lantern ability, if anything? And there's a few questions left to be answered. But I think we're going to get them fairly soon, in the next couple of issues, hopefully, while the next set of story is going to be set up, because now the Green Lantern Corps is back, and it's going to be not really, I'm not going to say bigger than ever, because that's been said before, but it's going to be more different than ever, maybe better than ever, because they have their work cut out for them. Their hands are full with what they got to do next. I look forward to it. I look really forward to it.
Of new abilities.
Yeah. And seeing, like, I really appreciate that Jeremy Adams is bringing in villains that are not just another Lantern. Like we're seeing Starbreaker. That's cool. Give me like universal villains that don't wear a ring. I'm all for that. Right? Make him a threat. And this looks like a credible threat. He's going to be the season 2 villain.
Give me a character that's named Alien that looks just like the Predator.
Because we have a being called Predator that looks just like an alien.
Yep.
Yeah. I like it.
As do I.
And Zermanico knocks it out of the fucking park.
Always.
Yep. So this issue is getting 8.75.
Ooh,
I've been looking forward to your, because I know the issues you've had recently. I'm still thinking about issue 1 because I still don't know what happened to that guy with the manager armor. Where did that come from?
Well, that's that complaint is not dissimilar from a complaint that I have, which is okay. So let me at least start out with the positive. This is, I think I understand the point of this arc in a grand sense, because it was very much a let's get back to basics approach, or at least in the wake of all the United Planet stuff and Tharos and just all the craziness that's been happening, all the cosmic stuff, let's just kind of realign. So we wiped the slate clean of that stuff, and now hopefully we're gonna get back to the basic formula of Guardians, Lanterns, new mission, cool. That's fine. I think it's my problem is the journey getting there. I would have appreciated this ending more if I felt like it had been a satisfying path to get there. But ultimately, a lot of this stuff just felt really rushed, and that's sort of why I feel kind of not let down, but it just feels like there was more potential there that ultimately was not fulfilled. And having a lot of this stuff just kind of basically hand waved away. Especially, I think for me, the most egregious one was definitely the Kilowog stuff. Because like I knew he was going to make his dramatic return, but I was like, if you're going to have the mystery set up of Kilowog became a Yellow Lantern, I would expect a little bit more than like 2 pages, and then suddenly he's a Green Lantern again. So there's stuff like that, which had kind of been a theme throughout this arc, has just been mildly frustrating, and kind of left a sour taste in my arc, or sour taste in my mouth with this arc, and that it just felt like a lot of the stuff that had been built up just was really rushed through because they didn't have a lot of space to properly resolve it. So for that reason, gotta give this issue a 7 out of 10. Like, dig the art. I like the direction that it's going, but ultimately, I do feel pretty let down just with the execution on a lot of the stuff in this arc.
Yeah, I'm gonna just bounce off of that as well. With a nitpick I have is what's going on with the entities. Like Predator is just there inexplicably, and then just as easily gone because Carol Ferris was the first, best, and strongest Star Sapphire. I'm assuming she has a masterful control over the violet energy. I'm assuming, but just why and how is Predator even existing right now? That's what I want to know. Like, Jeremy Adams is really good with, with continuity. So like, he would know that the entities don't really exist anymore, unless they're saying the last 2 or 3 universal resets since that whole thing with the source well, the emotional reservoir. Maybe the entities are just back.
I guess it's possible, and they're out there somewhere. But
I mean, I'm okay with it because let's face it, Lights Out was not great.
No.
It was not. It's kind of dumb.
What was that villain's name again?
Fuck, I don't remember.
One who destroyed Oa. He was fucking.
Jeez.
I can't even remember. That's how forgettable.
Yeah, I don't even remember what he looked like. I keep picturing Magog. Or Gog.
That's gonna eat at me until I remember this. Relic. Remember Relic?
No.
No.
Because he was a relic of the previous universe.
Yeah. He was a relic of a less than stellar era. Ultimately, my biggest problem really was just that it felt like there was so much potential here for really what they should have had was, I talked about this last month, but if they had a secondary book, right? Like, let's say this was running concurrently with the Green Lantern core book that is now going to happen.
Yes. Hallelujah.
This could have been an interlocked story a la Sinestro Corps War that could have more satisfyingly explored some of the elements of this story and resolved them in a way that didn't feel so rushed. Like, I could have seen, okay, we're going to handle the Kilowog stuff and the Unseeing stuff, in the Predator stuff, and the Tharos stuff in the main Green Lantern title. And once those are resolved, they will converge at the end of the arc, and everything will be properly resolved. But it just felt like it was too overstuffed for 4 issues, which is insane. Like, I think this arc in total was only 4 issues, which blows my mind.
Well, this was part 3.
Yeah. There was the Green Lantern Civil Corps one-shot,
special,
and then 16, 17, and 18. So 4 issues total, which is insane. So yeah, it just feels like it needed more substance to it, and ultimately, because it didn't have that, it fell short of its potential.
Fair enough. I get that.
Mhm.
Josh, what do you have? You're muted.
Stop getting muted, Murray. All right. I think first and foremost, it's gorgeous. The artwork used to show how crazy the emotional spectrum is around them while they're all battling is just, it's better than perfect. I mean, it's dynamic. It's awesome. It really is. The story, I don't know what to say. The cow's a white lantern. The wog came back home. Jess is free. Everything's going right in the world, kind of, sort of, with a whole shitstorm ahead of them. I honestly just wish the Guardians had stayed gone, but they're supposedly changed somehow, so let's see how that goes. But other than that, I really did like it. I gave it an 8.5 out of 10. I had a good time. Good time. Good time.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Those are all the books, so I guess we'll jump into the top 3.
Yeah. Brandon
right.
seems to have disappeared.
Oh, no.
So, do you want to go first?
You know what? I can do that. All right. My top 3 are going to be in third place is going to be Green Lantern. In second place, we've got Batman and Robin. And in first place, the Superwoman special. It was just damn good to see all of that. It was done so well. I can't believe I gave a 9 out of 10 to a Joshua Williamson penned book, but here we are. Uh, it's just the way that it is. My favorite moment, I actually had 2 of them, but they were in the same book, and Batman and Robin, when the guards kind of chuckle a bit when asked how do they know it's really Batman, and they say back to her, when you're looking at Batman, you know it's him.
Yep.
And then followed by the same book, shortly after that, Batman saying, "Now there's the look I like putting on Scarecrow's face, fear." That was sick. Absolutely loved it. Maybe let's see if we can give him your. Whoops.
Oh, he's backstage.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right.
Yo.
Hey.
Welcome back. Well, you missed my top 3. But...
I could hear it. I was backstage.
Fair enough.
Oh, I did not know you were backstage. My bad. All right. Well, Brandon, what's yours?
Let's see. At number 3, I have, Action Comics. At number 2, Black Lightning. But number 1 this week has to go to Batman and Robin. That one really got me. But my favorite moment comes from Black Lightning. You already heard me mention it before. Sorry, Rob. That's Natasha suiting up in the what I'm calling the Iron Man suit up scene, where all the parts shoot from out the building and fly towards her and lock onto her, and it's just super cool.
Yeah.
Or else what? This. Oh shit.
All right. For me, top 3.
Excuse me.
Number 3 is going to be. Fuck, man, I don't know, because all 3 of my top 3 books have the same score, so I don't know what order to put them in. Okay,
it's
fuck
tough.
it. Number 3 is going to be Green Lantern. All right, so number 2 is going to be Black Lightning, and number 1 is going to be Action Comics. With my favorite moment actually coming from my least rated book this week at 8.25, Superwoman Special. Only because Brandon pointed it out, and now I can't stop being giddy about it. The training
Superman
montage
64.
of Superman 64.
I
I didn't notice that at all
Yeah.
either. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, if it wasn't that, and I couldn't do Natasha Iron suiting up, it was going to be Luciphage showing up at the last page of Green Lantern, because I'm excited about non-Lantern villains again. But honestly, that Superman 64 callback is dope.
It really is.
Yeah. All right, folks, that's our show.
It is.
So it is.
All right, and then next week's we're gonna be talking about Absolute Batman #3, Nightwing 121, Batman Superman's World's Finest, but that is not the only World's Finest, because we're also getting Green Lantern Green Arrow #1. Action Comics 1080 will be here, Titans 18, The New Gods #1, Question All Along the Watchtower #2, and Challengers of the Unknown #1. We've also got Wonder Woman 16, Batman and Robin Year 1 #3, which is just awesome. Catwoman 71, Dark Knights of Steel All Winter 6, John Constantine, Hellblazer Dead in America 11, Plastic Man No More #4, can't wait to read that one. Batman 89 Echoes 5, Batman Santa Claus Silent Night Returns #4, another weekly title that is just kicking ass. Jenny Sparks #5, Milestone Universe, The Shadow Cabinet #2, and then in the bigger books section, we've got Batman Bruce Wayne Murderer Turned Fugitive Omnibus coming out for $125. Robin Son of Batman by Patrick Gleason, the deluxe edition hardcover for $50, and Superman Kryptonite, the deluxe edition hardcover for $30. And that is next week too. So that is everything. That is the show. Thank you everybody for watching. We will be back next week covering all of DC's weekly releases. Same geek time, same geek channel, and that's the show. We're getting out of here, so you'll have to as well. Be careful out there, and remember, in the Geek Matrix, everybody has a home. In the Geek Matrix, you are not alone.
Peace.